And welcome back to the rDNA podcast. Trevor says, Buenos dias, senor. Buenos noches. Buenos noches. Welcome
Somebody
back.
said something about nachos? Did you say nachos?
Yes. Good nachos, senor. No. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. This is the rDNA podcast. I'm back live. I'm back from vacation. For those that don't know, I was on a trip last week, so I didn't see people now for almost 2 weeks.
You're eating nachos.
I did have nachos once, yes. So that is accurate. So this is one of the first time, well, 2 times technically. Thank you for the host, Batman. So 2 times that I've stepped away for a week from streaming. The first time was a couple years back in 2019. I took a week off to go to Puerto Rico. Spent a week there on vacation. It was lovely, amazing, refreshing. So last week, much needed another vacation. I went to Mexico for a week, and that was fun. So maybe if we have time, I'll talk more about that if anyone has questions. But the reason we're here is for the rDNA podcast. That is the podcast where we keep it real. The R stands for real. R-E-E-E-E-E-E-E-E-L. That's a lot of E's. But really, it's just real, like the film reel, because we keep it real, film reel style. Anyways, we're going to talk about not 1 tonight, but 2 movies. Double feature. Here with iRob.
What?
Why the hell's got to be silent? Can you guys not hear me?
I can hear you.
That'd be awful if you couldn't. Because,
Isn't that the whole point? Is that people can hear you?
man, that's the thing. Trevor says we hear you. Okay. Because that's happened so many times where I go live, I'm here blabbing my mouth, and you're like, what are you doing? You're not saying things. I am saying things. Emma, thank you for confirming. What is up, Emma? Your ears are happy. Well, my eyeballs are happy because I see you guys in chat. It's always a worry when you take time away. It's like, will people remember you? And like the internet is...
Where are you again?
Yeah, exactly. Who am I? I'm Gravity. You are iRob, and we are hosting the rDNA podcast.
Isn't that where we keep it real?
We keep it real. R-E-E-L. How many times can we do that and still, have it be humorous?
I'm sure people are already annoyed with it, but It's going to keep happening anyway. So.
And you're here, so thank you for listening, whether it's live or back on demand on YouTube, Facebook. Holy cow. 100-bit donation from Emma. Hip, hip.
Hooray.
Thank you for that. Batman says we remember you, Tommy. Like the Green Ranger? That's awesome. That was my favorite one. Keep that in mind. But thank you so much for the donation, Emma. Thank you. Hooray, she says. Hey, there we go. I like that one. It's the update. Hooray. So yes, we have a double feature tonight. Normally, what's up, Lana? Are you driving right now? You better not be driving while watching.
She could just be listening.
She could be. So we have a double feature tonight. Normally we'd have it where our viewers would pick the movie for us. For whatever reason, there was no demand for that for this month. So we decided it's October, spooky month. Silent Hill is a video game, and they made some movies. And we're already doing Resident Evil sometime next week, so that's taken. So we decided, why not do this double feature. Silent Hill and Silent Hill Revelations 3D. And boy, did they really want you to know it was 3D.
And just a slight disclaimer here, Trav. I don't know if you do this. I have never played any of the Silent Hill games.
Well, then, this will be interesting. In all honesty, they're loosely adapted from the games anyways, so I don't think it is a requirement to really gain much from playing them. However...
Well, I remember from talking to you, because you did like the game, and just from us talking, you had talked about differences, so you'll be able to expand on some more if needed. But
Yeah. Trevor says me either none of the games or the movies. There's 2 movies. Batman says, cool, I saw the movies before playing the games. Trevor asks also, he wants to know, is iRob using a booster seat? That's why he's above me.
Normal office chair.
Normal office chair. So there you go.
It may, but it's one of the ones you can adjust the height, so you take that as you will.
He might be boosted a little bit. Just a little. So, was it Piquito? A little bit. Anyways. Let's travel to Silent Hill. The year is 2006. I don't want to either. The year is 2006. So development began in the early 2000s for this particular film. They tried to gain the rights for quite a few years, finally obtaining rights from Konami, who was the developer of the Silent Hills franchise. They were then given a budget of $50 million to make this movie. And they did well with the budget, I think. There's some really good aspects to this film where we're going to touch on that during our review. And keep in mind, this is a double feature. We're reviewing both Silent Hill films. So Silent Hill was released April 21st, 2006 in Canada and France on the 26th, and then worldwide following that. We'll get to the sequel, Revelation, after this. I'm going to break down the plot, and then we're going to talk about things as we go through this. And then if you have notes, please stop. I just recently rewatched them the past 2 evenings, so I'm just going to kind of go off of what I thought on my recent rewatching for my most recent
I will admit
opinion.
I didn't rewatch the first one because I've watched it a lot, so I kind of know that one. I did rewatch Revelations last night, so that one's fresh.
Fresh in the mind. Rose De Silva and her husband Christopher are deeply disturbed by their adopted daughter Sharon's constant sleepwalking and nightmares about Silent Hill, a town in West Virginia that was abandoned in the 1970s due to a massive coal seam fire. Against Christopher's wishes, Rose takes Sharon on a trip to Silent Hill to find answers. Her erratic behavior concerns police officer Sybil Bennett. Any relation to you, Batman? Rose flees from Sybil, but when a girl steps out into the road, Rose crashes and blacks out. Waking up sometime later, Rose finds herself in the foggy dimension of Silent Hill and realizes that Sharon is missing. So immediately, the intro sequence is kind of, like with the whole nightmare and the waterfall thing. Immediately I'm taken out of it by the poor acting. That's something that just kind of took me out of it. Thunder says West Virginia. Oh no. So I didn't fall in love with the character acting immediately. It seemed, I don't want to say forced, but just awkward. But when they do get to Silent Hill itself, this is where the movie actually starts to kind of turn up the fun factor. It begins to proceed like you're in an amusement park ride or a horror house, a haunted house. not to be confused with a horror house. I said horror house. So
Totally different. Totally different.
very different things. But that's stuff that I started to really get drawn into it because it slowly introduces you to this foggy world of Silent Hill. So atmosphere-wise, they capture the game perfectly. And a fun fact, the reason the world of Silent Hill is so foggy is actually due to hardware limitations of the PlayStation. They couldn't do what am I trying to say? They couldn't generate
open world type thing?
Exactly. They couldn't generate stuff that far out. So the dense fog. They did this in the N64 and other consoles too of the time, but they couldn't continue to do the draw distance. They couldn't map out that much of the world because of hardware limitations. So the fog actually helped them out, and then it also created atmosphere. So it was a combination of the two working really well together to create that world of Silent Hill, which I thoroughly enjoy. I thought that was a cool idea to hide your hardware limitations, as most people probably didn't know that. But immediately, it captures the world of Silent Hill. It's foggy, it's creepy, there's weird like monsters, weird things that you just have no explanation of why they look that way. And again, it's just like kind of getting slowly brought into a scary, like haunted house. And that's what I enjoyed about the opening sequence after we get introduced to the child and the family. I mean, what are your thoughts of that? Like the setup of it all?
Oh, obviously, like, because I probably better, like, the beginning scene, don't remember it. So it obviously isn't that memorable. I just remember her taking her, and then like my memory of the movie starts with meeting the police and running into the town. So
yeah, because she has her get out of the car. She says, "You were in an accident. You're bleeding." She immediately goes, "Oh," goes right for where she was bleeding, but she didn't even know she was hurt, like bleeding. But immediately goes right to where the blood is. Wouldn't you just kind of touch around? But no, she goes right to the blood. So I was like,
unless maybe she could feel it. She goes, "Oh, that's what that is." See? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That seemed weird.
But they do like you do meet one of the first monsters like right away, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't understand the monster design like that, and I don't even understand the monster design in the games, to be honest. It's.
I think the idea was it was supposed to be something that a child's mind would think up to be scary.
That makes sense. So I'll
take
be
that as you will. But.
I'll be upfront and honest. I don't have as much knowledge or experience with the Silent Hill games. I've played them, but I don't have as much experience. I haven't dove deep into the lore enough, like I know Resident Evil in that series. There was always that. You could be a fan of both, but there was always that. Are you Resident Evil or are you Silent Hill horror survival? You know, which are you more into? I took the Resident Evil path as far as what I was into. So searching the town for Sharon, Rose pursues the same girl she encountered prior to the crash, who turns out to resemble Sharon. This is important for the plot. At various points, the town transitions into a nightmarish dimension inhabited by inhuman monsters, including the fearsome Pyramid Head.
And I do just want to point out, I don't know if he ever watches, but our buddy from high school, Dan, does an amazing Pyramid Head.
His cosplay?
Like he has an amazing Pyramid Head cosplay that he does. So
I don't
know if he watches or not, but I want to shout that out. He's put a lot of work into it and done like cons and stuff downtown in Grand Rapids here, pictures of it, and it's really good.
Maybe we'll see if we can obtain a picture for our Instagram. So that'd be cool to have. Trevor asks, off topic, but did I pick up Metroid Dread? I did. I did pick up Metroid Dread. And I got the new Nintendo Switch OLED model that same day. which is beautiful. I haven't finished Metroid yet. I know it's not terribly long. It's like 10 hours or something or less. You can beat it. I'm quite a few hours into it, and I do enjoy it. I will say it is fun. Maybe we'll talk about that in an upcoming stream. You're at the last boss, and he's a real shithead, says Trevor. Trevor, maybe we can do a special episode, you and I, and review it. Maybe we can start doing game reviews too. Why the hell not?
Supposed to be kind of gaming on the channel, isn't it? Makes sense.
There is supposed to be gaming on this channel. Yes, that is a thing that probably should exist again. I need to play more games. So, but Trevor plays a lot of games and completes a lot of games, so he's going to be a great source as far as feedback and stuff. But we'll return to that. So I got to mention, I know you mentioned Pyramid Head here. We just talked about the transition with the town into the nightmarish dimension. Trevor says Cody did play games yesterday. I saw that this morning. I completely missed the stream. Turn on notifications, people, if you follow our channel. Then you'll get notified. For whatever reason, I was not notified. But the transitions from normal, quote, to nightmarish, in all honesty, it holds up. Like the special effects, they're slightly dated. There's things that you could point out if you were like very particular. But the special effects, like they still look pretty good for a 15-year-old movie. Like the transition was pretty cool. It's all rusted, decayed, all orangey, whereas everything before is foggy and kind of pure and innocent, if you will. Just the decay and metallic and like rustic kind of look to it all is really neat. I thought that was a cool transition. And that happens.
I always wanted to ask you, is the foghorn like in the game when it's transitioning, or is that they do that just for the movies?
From my recollection, yes, it was in the games, but again, I don't remember. It's been a long time. The last Silent Hill games I played were like the PSP was, I think, Downpour, and then the HD collection of 2 and 3 on the PS3. It's been a while since I played a Silent Hill, and I think it's been a while since they've even released a Silent Hill game.
I wanted to ask because for me it was kind of a cool thing, because even when you're just watching the movie, after you get that's happening, it like adds to like, oh, it's gonna happen again. Like, I just thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it adds an element of stress. You get stressed out and immersed, with the environment, and that's how I liked how they set up your exploration of Silent Hill itself. You feel immersed, like you're on that haunted house tour, and you're slowly getting introduced, and then the transition, you're really immersed into it. So yeah, it's really cool. And again, to my recollection, I believe it is taken from the game. The score.
It was one of those, the building. It wasn't just like all of a sudden like a cut, and it was okay. Now you're in the the dark side. It was like first you heard, and then it was kind of like a wave of everything changing. It's something that progresses through the whole movie that I did really like how they did it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the score from this too, we had found out is except for Johnny Cash, I think 90% of the score is from the games. So
that's kind of cool.
And then there was Ty. What's up, Ty? Welcome to chat. How have you been, man? Trevor says, I know you guys already reviewed it, but you did watch Squid Game on Friday. Thank you for the host, Ty. And Trevor enjoyed Squid Game. Have you watched Squid Game yet, Rob?
I have not.
You should take some time to watch it, and then obviously go listen to our feedback on it. That was a fun episode, too. So if you missed that podcast, go check it out. We broke down the entire season of Squid Game, all 8 or 9 episodes. I can't remember. But check it out. It's a fun show too, and it's the #1 show on Netflix. Like, it's destroyed Bridgerton and anything else that is like ever trended. Like, it's done the best numbers.
The hard part for anything that's considered horror is I have to get Amy's permission to use one of the TVs because she hates it. So
you don't have a tablet or a phone? I know it's less than ideal, but
I mean, I have my phone, but I don't have Netflix on it.
Don't you have a smartphone? Put Netflix on it, man.
But why? I have 2 TVs.
Moving on. Sounds like an excuse here. Yes. Batman is only on episode 3. Batman, I'm glad you're watching. I hope you're enjoying it. But yes, so the score is taken from the video game. I thought that was nice. What's funny too, as I was listening to the movie, I'm like, why does this sound familiar? And then Andrea had looked it up and confirmed that. Trevor also watched the Great British Baking Show. Your viewing is all over the... Yes, it is. There's nothing wrong with that.
I have watched that one. So, I can be with Trevor on that one. I've watched that too.
Oh my goodness. You guys are all over
That's more because Amy has control of the TV and she watches it, but, I'm
just shaking my head if you're watching the video version. Let us continue. Sybil catches Rose and tries to arrest her, but then finds out that they are trapped and all the road inns are gone. Rose runs away and is encountered by many other inhuman creatures. Rose survives the transitions and consequently learns of the existence of Alessa Giuseppe, a young girl burnt by the Brethren, the town's fanatical Manichean, I believe that's how it's pronounced, cult. Her mother, Dahlia, wanders the streets as an outcast, guilty for her negligence that led to Alessa's doom. Rose is later joined by Sybil, also trapped in the foggy dimension of the town due to a giant fracture isolating Silent Hill. So, this is where the movie just kind of like starts to lose me as far as interest levels. Like, I like the idea of like the cult stuff, but like, I've never been a big fan of like coven or witches, and I don't know why. Like, not that that's bad content. I know a lot of people like that kind of stuff. For whatever reason, like, I don't know. It just doesn't get its hooks in me. And I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's just a popular trope because it's an easy thing for a lot of people to be like, oh, that's the bad people. Like,
Yeah. That was just weird, the introduction of it. So while go ahead.
Real fast, just the reason that the mother can wander around is because she's mom, so none of the demon things try to hurt her. She's just doomed to be there.
Well, she's stuck for what she did and everything. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's weird. Meanwhile, in the real world,
yeah, but because go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't want to jump ahead.
I was just gonna say, but she explains it that she's safe in the darkness because she's mom. So none of the things try to actually hurt her. She's just there and has to deal with it.
And I mean, that's just your existence. Like, it's strange.
But
it's just strange. So in the real world, Christopher searches the abandoned town with the policeman. This was neat editing too, because you're having situations where they're in a spot in the transitioned Silent Hill, but then in the real Silent Hill, they're in these same spots looking for them. Why they're right there, but in the transition version. So this alternate dimension of this existence, right? I thought that was neat.
Also, just because it popped into my head, one of the few movies where Sean Bean does not die.
Oh, yeah.
That he's in.
That's true. Andrea Lana says, mother is God in the eyes of a child. And they mention that multiple times in the movie. Like, that's like an important thing to think about. So,
yeah.
That's mentioned quite a bit. So they search the abandoned town with the policeman Thomas Gucci, but their search is in vain. Upon finding a photo of Alessa, Christopher goes to the orphanage where Sharon was adopted. Gucci appears, revealing he lived in Silent Hill and saved Alessa from the fire. He encourages Christopher to end his futile search and go home. So they said, you shouldn't be here. Obviously, it's unsafe. The fires are still burning beneath Silent Hill. That's why it is the way it is and abandoned. So that's how it's explained the existence of that place.
Fun little trivia. They got the idea from a real town that's in Pennsylvania, actually. Like the coal burning under the town, so you can't live there.
Yeah, so Andrea Lana loves to look up facts, and that is one of the things that she had found out as well and had shared with me when we were watching the film. So that's kind of interesting and kind of scary when you think about it, that that's still like a thing. Trevor asks, Andrea, did you see they're releasing a Titanic Lego set? 9,090 pieces. Yes, actually, Mikey posted that online, and he's sounded like he was interested in purchasing that for himself or having someone help fund getting that. That would be fun to put together.
You gonna stream it?
You know how long it would take? That would take, yeah. Thank you for the host, MX. Trevor says, I'd love to put that together. Yeah, that would take a while, though, but it'd be fun. Personally, I love putting Legos together. Behind me here on camera, if you see me, there's the CRT and NES. That's actually a Lego set. I had a blast putting that together. That's one of the biggest sets I've ever put together, besides Atticus's Nintendo Mario stuff. So, like, that stuff is cool. And he's got more stuff coming too. Spoiler, he's not like he listens to this, but his birthday's coming up. He's got 2 more sets coming. So, which I'll end up putting together, and I'm okay with that. However, he might actually put it together this time himself. He's gotten really good with that. You should see some of the creations he's done.
Got a bunch of them for Emmy. She loves them. So
yeah, Legos are fun, man. That was one of my favorite things as a kid, was putting Legos together. Trevor loves Legos. MX says, what did I walk into? Titanic Lego, that'd go down well. Aha, I get it. You get it? It'd go down well to Titanic. Batman's got jokes. That's good stuff.
I think we got it, Trent. You can move on.
I know. I like that. I'm going to sit on this one. I'll never let go.
Was there room on the door?
Like I said, I'll never let go. Anyways.
For 5 minutes.
Jack can kiss Rose off the door this time. Emma says, Lurkin, just watching a tourney. What tourney are you watching? What's on TV these days on Twitch? What else are people doing on Twitch? I don't know. People play things. Anyways. Silent Hill. In the Silent Hill dimension, Rose and Sybil explore a hotel the Brethren once used, accompanied by Anna, a Brethren member, where they find the burnt remains of a ceremonial chamber. Rose also encounters the girl revealed to be an aspect of Alessa. When the town transitions into the dark dimension, Rose, Sybil, and Anna flee to an old church, but Pyramid Head emerges and flays Anna alive. Some cool stuff here. Like, Pyramid Head was pretty menacing. Some real cool stuff. Like that sequence.
And it was all because Anna she had to stay out to throw rocks at the mom.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Because it's what stupid people do. I don't know.
I don't know. This is the aspect of Silent Hill I do like, but it's ripped off from so many other things. You could compare it to Nemesis in Resident Evil. So the basically unbeatable giant that just lurks and slowly stalks you. Like, that's a fun thing in gaming. It's a cool thing in film too. I mean, it's a trope that's been done for how many years? The Predator. Like, that's another great example of this menace that you don't know how to defeat. That's one by one picking you off and then hanging you up, in trees. Like, Predator was a sweet movie. Cool concept.
I think you just like Arnold.
Get to the chopper. No. Trevor asks, Pyramid Head related to Pinhead? He might be. MX says, who you calling a pinhead? You, Pinhead. Jeez, a lot of love in chat. You guys are so friendly to each other. I forgot what this was all about. It's been a minute.
That's something in our... I want to do some of those in our board talks. The Hellraiser movies. I liked those, actually.
There are so many. There are so many.
We don't have to do all of them. We don't have to do all of them.
What ones you want to do? The early ones?
Definitely the early ones. I will admit, even as much as I liked them towards the end, they got dumb.
Yeah.
Real dumb.
Well, there is a show called The Graveyard Shift where we discuss everything spooky, so I think that fits the criteria, wouldn't you?
That's kind of what I was hitting at. I'd like to do that for one of those. So.
I think that should be a thing. On an upcoming episode of that, we're going to be talking about the Halloween franchise, as well as talking
That's
about...
your favorite, isn't it?
One of, yes, one of.
Because Michael Myers is your favorite, like, big bad, isn't he?
The Shape, he's one of... it's the mood thing. We talked about this before years ago. It's a mood thing because there's periods of time where I'm like, yes, Michael Myers, The Shape is fantastic. But then I'm like, I really like Jason. He's a cool villain. And then Freddy, like, you got to compliment the psycho of Freddy. MX says, did I watch the new one? I have not yet. No spoilers, please. I haven't had a time to. I just got home and 3 days ago, and I'm already back to work and training new people. So, I get busy. And then the last 2 nights I had to rewatch the Silent Hill films for tonight. So I will get to it, though. It's just, do I do this for you guys? Do I selfishly watch movies for my own pleasure?
Why not both?
At the same time?
Yes. Pleasure others and yourself at the same time.
That is not what I said. You're twisting my words.
I'm putting things in your mouth. So
you were
what?
See, here we go. Good Lord. Good Lord.
Back into Silent Hill.
Back into Silent Hill, yes. Unless people want me to just watch the Halloween movies, then you could stare at me. I'll stream just my reactions to the movie. It's so stupid. I don't know. That's a thing, though. People like that. I don't understand it. Who am I, though? Who am I to judge?
It would be boring watching you watch a movie because you just sit there and watch it.
I would, too. That's it. I have like, oh, look out. Silence for the next 40 minutes. He's dead. I'm hungry. My butt itches.
People would laugh at me because you laugh at me if we watch movies because I am notorious. Jump scares get me every time.
You do. You
it's
jump.
Bad.
You jump during movies. I've laughed at you many times.
Yes, you have. I laugh at myself, but it's still a thing.
I'll look at him like, that made you jump? Idiot. MX says, wear mirrored aviators so everyone can see it. Yeah. Seeing like it seems like work then. And then I have to wear sunglasses at night. I'm not Corey Hart. Like, come on, guys. That's a reference over so many people's heads, especially in this chat. The only one that might get it is Trevor. Anyways. This is why our podcasts are like 4 hours long. You know that, right?
As we get distracted?
Easily. It's just about nothing. Like, we're so off topic. Just hold a controller, pretend it's a game. Yeah, that worked, I think, once on Twitch. Never again. Not for us, but another person streamed a UFC pay-per-view and pretended to play the game. It's funny. Christabella, the high priestess of the Brethren and Alessa's aunt, suggests a demon knows where Sharon is. Her followers lead Rose and Sybil to a hospital, claiming the demon is in the basement. Christabella sees a photo of Sharon from Rose's locket and brands Rose as Sybil as witches due to Sharon resembling Alessa. Sybil fights the Brethren members, but Christabella orders them to violently beat her. Yeah. This leads us to one of my favorite sequences, not only in the games, but the film. It's weird that I enjoy this, but I do. Rose enters the basement, but she is barricaded by a group of weapon-wielding nurses who appear to be almost completely blind due to their disfigured, covered faces.
I think that's like a very popular character just in general from the games.
Why is that?
Because it's easy for certain people to do the cosplay for that and try to look sexy at the same time.
So it's cosplay that has made that popular.
Well, and most people that enjoy these type of games probably resemble me and you and might like a sexy horror type character, maybe. Guessing.
He's doing air quotes. Keep in mind, he's quoting "sexy whore." Now we have to give a new rating
Not
for this.
horror. I didn't say sexy horror.
You said "sexy whore." I heard it. You guys in chat heard. I know you did. He said
Sexy horror. Horror.
No, that's not what he said. Chat, what do you think? Consensus. Did he say whore? Let's screw that. Hold on. We're going to do a poll. I'm flipping over.
We'll do a poll on what I said.
Yeah, I'm doing one right now because we're live. Fuck it. We're doing this. Chat, bear with me. I'm creating a prediction. And start a prediction. I don't even know if I can type the word in horror in the prediction. Let's find out. What did Rob
say horror or
say?
Not horror?
Horror.
If you were
or horror.
Horror or not horror.
1 minute on the clock. Let's see if that goes through. This is not compliant with our content guidelines.
So do the horror and then say not horror. People will know what the other one is.
I'm doing not horror or horror. 1 minute. There we go. It let me do that. It wouldn't let me say horror. I should probably.
Does that surprise you a lot?
It does surprise me. There we go. We're doing the poll on. Yes, Trevor. Twitch is going to ban us. You know, we got this far. Screw it. You know, if this is our demise, we're done. It is what it is. We had a good run,
That's
guys.
all right.
We had a good run.
I don't know if you had noticed it, Trev, but just in the wrestling chat for Naw, I had referenced, because people were saying things about Sting, and I said, well, all we need to do is beat somebody up with a bat. And Facebook banned that comment and said if I said anything else that violated it, I would get like the timeout for that comment in a wrestling chat.
Well, yeah, it's not within guideline. They don't know you're cosplaying and doing pretend time with the guys.
I didn't even say I was going to do it. I was referencing Sting beating people up with a baseball bat in the 90s.
They don't care. They're recognizing something.
Well, yeah, just so that didn't happen. By the way, I got a don't do that from Facebook.
Did you guys vote?
Did anybody vote?
I don't know. 100% said not horror. So you said the naughty.
I didn't, but that's okay. If it makes everybody else happy, you can think that I said the naughty.
Oh, man. Trevor says, I think Cody got banned for something like that as well. So there you go. You're not the only one, Rob. You're not the only one. Back to the horror nurses, as Rob so put it.
But that's why I think that they're popular, because, spoiler, they're in the second movie too.
Let me delete this. Return points. There you go, guys. Thank you for participating.
But yeah, so, and it's just, I know that it's a very popular character from the games, so.
The horror nurse, right? The horror nurse.
Horror. Scary. How about scary? Then there's nothing that.
That's why I say spooky, because I don't want people to get it twisted, because they will. Because when I start advertising, you're going to come watch the horror show that I do. Like, excuse me? Spooky show. Is that better? People are like, what do you do? I do a horror show. Thank you. Spooky.
You might get some people that are coming that would be disappointed when it's just the spooky.
I'm sure they would. They want their nerd cred back. Good God.
We're way off track. We're so off track.
This is bad. This is bad. Anyways, the nurses. Although light and sound attract them, and Rob, Rose manages to sneak through them, inadvertently startling them into attacking each other. You know, Andrew Lana says she'd watch that. Of course she would. The nurses or the... Never mind. Let's keep going. So, here's the thing, like... Is it considered contortionist, like what the nurses were doing? Like, how do they do the things they were doing?
Because it's a thought up from a child's brain to be something scary?
I'm not saying like the idea, but how are they like able to move and do the things they do, like realistically?
Because they got professional dancers to do it.
Okay, that makes sense. That was impressive. Like, because it's not CG. That was real. Unless it was CG and I was fooled, but it looked pretty real. So.
Yeah, I think it was real with just, they're doing some of the quick camera jerk type stuff.
That helps. The makeup looked cool. Like, everything looked cool. It was a cool sequence. So they attacked each other. She flees and enters Alessa's room. In a flashback, it is revealed that Alessa was stigmatized by the townspeople for being a, quote, bastard. Christabella convinced Dahlia, a former devout brethren member, to purify Alessa after Alessa was raped by the school janitor while attempting to hide from her tormentors. Christabella immolated Alessa during a ritual, but Dahlia realized what was happening and alerted Gucci. The pair arrived too late and the ritual went awry, igniting the infamous coal seam fire. Hospitalized, Alessa's rage grew and manifested as Dark Alessa, who was responsible for the shifting dimensions of Silent Hill. Her remaining innocence later manifested as Sharon, who was taken to the real world to be adopted. Desperate to find Sharon, Rose allows Dark Alessa access to the church by fusing with her body. Meanwhile, Sharon, protected by Dahlia, is captured by the Brethren. So it was this sequence of stuff in like the church, and again, it was just like the way they vomited all the backstory and the story all together. It was, I don't want to say it was hard to like comprehend, but it was just like so different from what was being presented and built up to that point of the film that it was tonally different from what was, I thought, going to be the film. I guess I didn't know what it was, but like there was a dynamic shift in this section of the film, and I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
Because up until that point, you were led to believe that like Alessa was the bad guy.
Right. What's up, Zach Wolf?
And then this kind of shifts it where now you don't feel sorry for the townspeople that are stuck there.
Yeah. So, I mean, that changed everything too. I don't know. It was just this sequence where it shifted the big reveal. Lana says it was fine. It's fine. It's fine. That's my go-to. It's fine. We then have in the church, Christabella burns Sybil to death, which, man, that was pretty graphic. So again, like, this movie's 15 years old, but some of the special effects still remain pretty solid. Like, pretty graphic, pretty gruesome. Some of the blood splatter stuff was kind of dated, like you could tell. But, like, the burning alive sequence, that was pretty violent looking. So Christabella burns Sybil to death and plans to do the same to Sharon. Rose intervenes and confronts Christabella in regards to her crimes, but Christabella stabs her in the heart in retaliation. Rose's blood summons both the original Alessa and Dark Alessa, who bisect and kill Christabella and her followers, excluding Dahlia with razor wire. This had moments that looked amazing, but then it had moments of looking very dated with the razor wire. There were some sequences that just looked not so great, like it didn't hold up with the special effects. Gameplay Boy 2222, what is up? You're going to lurk. Thank you for lurking. Glad to have you here. Shout out, Gameplay Boy. Thanks for checking us out. Appreciate you. But I mean, like the razor blade was cool idea, but there were aspects that looked dated. And that's the problem with special effects digitally as opposed to practical. But how in the world would you do that practically?
You could do like when it's around somebody, but like it moving, you can't do that practically.
It'd be difficult. Work. It's like that trap in Saw. Do you remember with all the razor wire in that cage? In one of the Saw films? Like that was pretty gnarly.
Yes, and you could do that practically because it was all static. It wasn't moving.
Right. I'd love to talk about those movies with you because we have a history with those films.
We do.
We do. So maybe one day. There is that new show, The Graveyard Shift, which you should listen to.
We have plenty of material for the spooky show.
Yes, the spooky show. There's no shortage.
I almost fell for it again.
As you should.
Almost.
That's a different show. There's different monetary donations required for that. So, OnlyFans.
Which they changed back, so you could do your other show.
We're good to go again. The non-spooky show, right? That one's back. Rose and Alessa leave the town and return home, but upon doing so, find out that they are still in the foggy dimension, separated from reality. Meanwhile, Christopher is alone in the real world, but discovers that the front door has mysteriously opened. So it leaves us on a little bit of a cliffhanger, if you will.
A little bit.
So, I mean, overall, like, the story, as Lana put it, it's fine. I didn't love the main story arc. I don't know what I would have done differently, especially being inspired from various source material of the Silent Hill games. I think they captured the essence of the world very well. The tone of everything, the spookiness of everything, the dynamic shifting of the dimensions was very well done, and again, still holds up pretty well today visually. The atmosphere in the first half of the movie is fantastic. The dread of being lost in this, small town. But I think the weakest part was some of the acting, some of the characters, and the story arc. Like, I didn't love it. But overall, it's worth watching. It's not a bad movie. So I think it's pretty solid.
Shocking as far as I like this movie. I know that'll shock everyone.
No one's shocked.
But I want to point out, and I wish I could remember her name because I completely just didn't look it up. But the girl that played Sharon / Alessa is so great at being creepy in this movie. Like, creepy little girl when she needs to play that character. It's one of my favorite things of the movie itself.
So it's Jodelle Ferland is the actress. She is an actress from Canada. She is, let's see, what is she known for? She is known for They, Silent Hill, Case 39, Good Luck Chuck, Kingdom Hospital. She also had roles in Twilight, The Cabin in the Woods, The Tall Man, Dark Matter. So quite a bit of things on her resume of work. There's many more things. But yeah, super creepy. I agree. I definitely agree with that.
She played creepy little girl very well. Like, that was, as much as like some of the other acting might not have been up to par that you were talking about. Her being creepy was good. So
now, like I said, the acting isn't like terrible. We'll get to that in the second movie. Because woof. But yeah, overall, like, my honest opinion, and again, we're doing a double feature. Stick with us if you're still listening. We're going to talk about the second movie, Revelation, that came out 6 years after this one. Watch this one. It's worth viewing. It really is.
This one, yes, I would recommend. If you like the games or if you just like horror movies, give this one a shot. It's
movies.
Good.
Spooky movies.
I did the extra on the end, man.
Do a couple extras so people really know.
The scary movie crowd would like this one.
The horror. See, then you really know. 2012 was a great year, but it also had this movie, Silent Hill Revelation. Also known as Silent Hill Revelation 3D, because we're a couple of years into our 3D hype of everything needing to be 3D. And man, there are sequences where it really shows. It reminded me of Friday the 13th 3D, where they do the blatant kills where the weapon goes right in the camera and it just kind of stays there for several moments. And you're like, we get it. It's 3D. It's supposed to come at me. And I'm like, and I'm not, because it's an overplayed trope that's been done a million times. If you're going to do 3D, really get clever with it. Well, get good with it. Get clever with it. Because honestly, I'm going to be biased because we're going to be doing this review very soon. But Resident Evil, when they did their 3D stuff, clap, 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 because it's done well. It's done tastefully. It's done really, really well. But again, I'm biased because, spoiler alert, I really like those movies. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but I don't care about your opinion, not you specifically, Rob, but the others out there. Don't care. This is my opinion. You don't need to agree with me. And look, he's got the tattoo. I think he might like it. Or he is a product of the Umbrella Corporation himself. Which...
we'll never know. We'll never know.
That could make a lot of sense. The R virus. Is he the R in rDNA? Ponder.
And as much as I don't want you to, we should probably get back into the Silent Hill 3D.
You got somewhere to be?
Thing. Oh. Not right now. Nope, I'm here with you. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Good answer. 2012. October in 2012. Silent Hill Revelation 3D. So the sequel stars Adelaide Clemens, Kit Harington, Martin Donovan, Malcolm McDowell, and Carrie Ann Moss, along with Sean Bean, Deborah Kara Unger, and Radha Mitchell. Radha Mitchell. I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologize. There are several notable names in this cast. That was surprising to me. And some of the acting was really subpar for some of these notable names. Kit Harington, they're a pretty well-known actor for now. But like,
gotta start somewhere, I guess.
See Batman, see Kit Harington, good actor. They're you may know them from Game of Thrones, a very popular TV show for whatever reason.
And I wouldn't hold anybody's performance from this movie against them. You can only do so much with the source material you're given.
Fair. But man, it was... I don't even want to say it was dialed in on some of the things. Like, were they even there? Like, did you just...
Maybe while they were there, they knew it was not going to be the greatest and were just kind of phoning some stuff in.
Yeah, man, just easy paycheck, I guess. Sean Bean's better. Yeah, Andrea says 2 characters from Game of Thrones. Yeah. I don't know, but yikes. What happened? Woof.
You can get through it pretty quick, I think, but...
So, talks for the sequel began as early as December in 2006, so we're talking shortly after the release of the first one. The first one, by the way, $50 million budget, it made over $100 million. They got their money back and then some. If you know anything about this genre of films, if you're making a profit margin like that, you're getting a sequel. Like, there's no discussion. They're going to give you a sequel because they're like, ching, easy horror money, like spooky money, excuse me.
Spooky money.
Here we go. So it had talks with Christophe Gans, don't know how to say it, doesn't matter. Returning direct Roger Avary writing a script for the project. However, Gans dropped out from directing and Avary was imprisoned for vehicular manslaughter. The project entered in a complicated production. That could have been why there were problems, but who knows. Later in early 2010, Bassett was hired to direct and write the film, replacing them. She had expressed her openness to fan suggestions of actresses for Heather's role on a total estimated $20 million budget, so a significantly less budget for this one.
You can tell.
Yeah. The filming lasted from March to May of 2011 in Canada. They used 3D Red Epic cameras, which are actually really nice cameras. I've seen those in the real world. Expensive-ass cameras. They're really nice cameras, though. Audio mixing took place in France. It was released again in October of 2012. It did well at the box office. It did $56 million. So it made its money back. However, it was received negatively from critics. A lot of it was inspired by Silent Hill 3, which is a lot of the attire specifically, and they make that a plot point too with the vest that was given to her as a gift. That is the attire of the character in the game. So that for whatever reason, that was like a major like, look at, you remember this? It's I don't know. It's one of those things like, I guess you have to have that for fan service. Really, I think that's what it's for. Let's break down this incredible plot, shall we? This is being sourced from Wikipedia. If you're curious where this information is coming from. Takes place several years. This is supposed to be years later now. 2011, Sharon De Silva and her adoptive father, Christopher, have spent the last few years moving from town to town and assuming different identities, including the names Heather Mason and Harry Mason. Heather believes that they were on the run from the police because Harry killed a man in self-defense and that her adoptive mother, Rose De Silva, died in a car crash. In fact, he has been protecting her from the Order, a cult of Silent Hill. Rose was able to free Heather from the fog world using one half of the talisman called the Seal of Metatron, but she remained trapped in Silent Hill.
Sorry. Just how many things use the name Metatron, and it seems like I've heard that in a dozen other horror movies, something about the Seal of Metatron.
So Metatron is actually Hebrew. It's an angel in Judaism mentioned 3 times in the Bavli, in a few brief passages, and the Agadah, and the mystical Kabbalistic texts within rabbinic literature. The figure forms one of the traces for the presence of dualist proclivities and the otherwise monotheistic visions of the both Tonic and later Christian doctrine. I don't know any of this stuff, so I'm just explaining from what I had found. So if you're familiar with it, read up on it. But that is what a Metatron is. So
okay,
yeah, I don't know. So first off, I gotta say this. The sequence that immediately stands out to me, Alan Rickman is Metatron in Dogma. There goes another example. That's a good movie too. Why are all like classroom scenes so terrible? Like no classroom is like any of these classrooms where they're like, we have a new student today, introduce yourself, and then have this big like backstory. No one's going to give you that much time. You're going to say who you are, where you came from, and they're going to go back to learning. Nobody's going to remain silent and then allow for someone to pick on you, and the teacher just kind of sits back and let it happen.
And then when she went into her long
diatribe
spiel there, nobody would have let that continue. They would have been like, oh, okay, great, sit down. Like,
right,
no.
That's what I mean. Like, no one would have given you the time to do all of that. And that was wild and
even
awkward.
If you were in a class where a teacher said, okay, you're new, introduce yourself, it would have got cut off way before that.
Or they would have introduced you for you and said, we have a new student, here is iRob. So.
And then at the extent like, oh, where are you from? Okay, great. Welcome to the class. That would have been it. Like,
it was just weird and awkward. And like everyone was like stereotypically the high school student in that room. Like there was literally every stereotype. And it's like, that's not, no. Like these people clearly have been removed from school for a long time. As have we, but still, it's not like that. That's not like that. No schools are like schools how they're portrayed in film. Like no schools like that. Same like with dances in schools. Like dances in movies for high school students. None of the dances in high school are ever really like that. No one has that kind of budget for the things that they have at the high school dances and movies.
Did anyone ever, I want to know if people can, from around the country, did you ever have a live band at any of your dances in school?
Yeah, chat, viewers, somebody comment. We didn't.
We had like I don't even know if we had a real DJ. It was like a guy with a computer hitting play.
They put it over the PA system in the buildings.
Yeah.
Or in the gymnasium. It was not a thing. Oh, man. So Heather meets fellow student Vincent Cooper, played by Kit Harington, but she is haunted by hallucinations of Silent Hill. So she keeps having these weird like visions and seeing things, right? Trevor says, I never went to school dances. I barely went to school. I mean, fair. Lana says, as anatomically correct as a Ken doll. So she's approached by a private investigator, Douglas Cartland, played by Martin Donovan, regarding her identity. Heather warns her father, but he is abducted by the Order and taken to Silent Hill. Unaware of this, Heather goes to a mall to wait for him, but enters the mall's other world. Douglas explains he was hired by the Order to find Heather, but decides to help her when he discovered who his clients were. A monster, the missionary, kills Douglas. Heather returns to the real world and flees, unfortunately leaving her a suspect of Douglas's murder. I have to also mention when they're leaving the mall, the crime scene, that was another weird thing. So she casually exits the outside of the mall, right? And they have like the police scene set up and like, you're not supposed to be here. And like shoves her to the side. But then immediately they're like...
tells her to leave?
Yeah, it tells her to leave. Like, she's not a fucking suspect. Like, why are you walking out of the crime scene? Everybody else... They've already established a crime scene. Where have you been? Why are you able to just freely walk out of that crime scene without being questioned? And then immediately one of the other people pull up on their device and identify the person, which is her. And they don't immediately like, oh my God, that's who we just saw walk through a crime scene.
Yeah.
Like it was really bad. Like that, I just these scenarios. There's no logic to them. They don't seem reality based. And I know it's a movie, but like, it was just bad.
And you gotta go to the next part because I have something I want to say after the next thing that happened.
So Vincent escorts her home, but they find a message instructing Heather to go to Silent Hill. Stop me too when you have something to chime in on. On the way to rescue her father, Heather reads a letter from her father detailing the truth of her background and lost memories. Heather and Vincent travel to the town, but stop at a motel where Vincent reveals that he is the son of the Order's leader, Claudia Wolf.
Okay.
Yes.
So this part that didn't make any sense to me the first time I watched it, and still doesn't that anybody would fall for it. You're a guy in high school. You go over to the chick's house. This is all going on, and she goes, you have to drive me to this other city, I don't know how. And you do it.
Yes.
And the girl lets you. So later, like, you find out that he was trying to get her to come back anyway, so his part makes sense, but how is she that dumb that you would think anybody would just be like, okay, cool, I'll drive you to this other city when you just said all this crazy nonsense is going on?
And he's been strange the whole time about everything, too.
Yeah, like it's one of those that was that they tried to make you believe that it would just be like this was supposed to be the big reveal that he's been working for this the whole time. You're like, it doesn't make any sense that a normal person would have done this. It's not shocking. So I'm sorry, that was just something that like has always stuck out for me the 3 times I've ever watched this movie.
3, I'm impressed. I think like last night was my second time. I can imagine 3 times. Woof.
But yeah, so that was just the thing that just always stood out to me, that it like trying to write it like it was supposed to be a big reveal. It's not a big reveal. No one was surprised by this.
No. So yes, they stop at a motel. He reveals he is the son of the Order's leader, Claudia Wolf, and was sent to her to ensure Heather came of her own volition to Silent Hill. He reveals that Heather is a part of Alessa Giuseppe, girl whose immolation 38 years earlier by the Order led to the creation of the town's shifting dimensions. The resulting argument triggers a shift to the other world. The missionary grabs Vincent, but not before he tells Heather to find his grandfather, Leonard, who possesses the other half of the seal of the Metatron. So his confliction confused me too, where he's like, his acting was terrible. That's what I think was really like what was bad about it. He's like, no, but yes, but no, but yeah, like, be more convincing on like what you're trying to convince her. Like it was bad
Maybe
acting.
it was because he was young, or he just knew he was acting in some hot garbage and didn't care.
I mean, he started Game of Thrones this same time period. A pretty high-profile gig.
Maybe he already knew he had that and didn't care.
But I mean, I guess. But
I'm just trying to.
This is still on your resume, though. Like, this is still part of your resume. You can't erase this. This exists. We're talking about it right now and questioning why you did what you did. You can't erase that. That is a thing you did. So, like, not that I had a lot of respect for him.
We've already talked about some of the writing choices that you just discussed. You can only do so much with what you got.
I mean, I guess, but damn. Like, Heather ventures into the foggy dimension to find her father. She encounters Alessa's mother, Dahlia, who reveals that Claudia intends to complete the purpose intended for Alessa at her burning. After a ship to the other world, Heather finds Leonard, who, after informing her that the Seal of Metatron will reveal the true nature of things, fuses Heather's half of the amulet with the one he possesses and becomes a monster. After
Skipped one.
What did I skip?
Well, it didn't talk about it. Did it? Unless it's coming later. We'll see if it comes after that. Maybe I'm remembering events in out of order.
That could be. I don't know.
Did it skip the mannequin thing yet? I thought that happened when she first gets there.
It might not have mentioned it. Yeah, so, I mean, go on with that.
It was one of the cool monsters from this movie was like the spider mannequin thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where that was. I want to say that was later, but yeah, let's talk about some earlier. Of the. So we broke down and discussed the special effects in the first one quite a bit, and we were pretty complimentary. Let's talk about that for a second here. The mannequin, where the one girl gets turned into the mannequin, right? So the girl that's laying in that room.
So it's like a live girl that you see like plasticky taking over her body,
mm-hmm.
and then the other girl is in plastic, but it's supposed to be like a cocoon, like what a spider would wrap something up before it eats it. She takes her out, and then all of a sudden you see, and she goes, "God, it'll come," and it's like mannequin arms and legs with hands holding other mannequin heads. That's kind of like a spider, and it's creepy enough that I actually thought it was cool.
I mean, I thought it was really cool too. The sequence where the one girl that was living that got turned into the mannequin, the spider thing ends up taking the head off that mannequin that she just became and fusing with all the other heads.
Yeah, so it's got another head hand thing, and it was hers.
They do the trope with the 3D where it sticks it out of the camera and then she screams. Yeah. So, like, I was like, okay, that was cheesy. I get it. You know, scary, spooky, whatever. But the design and idea behind this monster was really cool. And the special effects were pretty solid with this. Like, it looked really good. It's one of the better sequences in the film.
I was going to say, it's like some of the other, like I had already said it, we were doing the other movie. They do the nurses again, the spooky nurses. And you have Pyramid Head. But nothing else is really like that memorable to me other than this one. Like, it was the one new monster that they added that was actually kind of cool in the second movie.
Like, they have the nurses again. They have more of the people in the suits, like the safety suits for, like, the fire type things. They get mauled by the nurses on one of the sequences. I think we're coming to that. So, like that stuff was kind of cool. Pyramid Head returns again, of course. That's a signature character for the franchise. But yeah, they didn't really bring anything else new in. Like, that was the most significant new designed monster. And it was
and
a
it
nice...
was almost like, I will admit, like, it serves no purpose for the rest of the story for the movie. They just made like a cool monster to have a scene.
Yeah, like nothing, if it didn't exist in the film wouldn't be any different in that regard, other than one less talking point for us. It doesn't change the course of the plot by any means.
As you can tell by the plot you're reading, it didn't even talk about it.
No, it's not significant to the plot. So.
But I didn't want to skip over it because, like I said, that was one of my, like, the cool things from the movie was that one little part there.
Oh, so. I agree 100%. I'm glad you pointed that out. So she ventures into the foggy dimension to find her father, encounters Alessa's mother, Dahlia, who reveals that Claudia intends to complete the purpose intended for Alessa the Burning. After the shift to the other world, Heather finds Leonard, who, after informing her that the Seal of Metatron will reveal the true nature of things, fuses Heather half with the amulet, with the one who possesses becomes the monster. So after being knocked out and carried off, Heather regains consciousness and grabs the amulet from within his body, killing Leonard. As she runs away, she summons Pyramid Head, the entity created to protect Alessa, and by extension, Heather, with her pleading, and hides from him. Shortly after, she witnesses Vincent being taken away by the Order after being deemed insane by Claudia for betraying them. Heather saves Vincent, and they go to Lakeside Amusement Park, where the Order sanctuary is hidden. So here's another set piece that I really enjoyed. Like, a creepy carnival is always interesting to me. They hinted at this in the beginning of the film as like the intro, like little flashback memory, like kind of setting the tone of the film, which we then circle back and come back to this specific location for the full reveal on what it is and why she's seeing what she's seeing. So we finally get that reveal. The amusement park stuff, I'm into that. I like that kind of thing.
The Pyramid Head is the one making the carousel move. I thought it was a cool visual that they did a couple times.
Yes. So this is where the Order Sanctuary is hidden. Dark Alessa, the manifestation of Alessa's wrath, confronts Heather, who embraces her counterpart, absorbing her and making Alessa complete once again. Heather confronts Claudia, who is holding Christopher and Vincent hostage. Claudia explains that Alessa's destiny was to be the incubator for a deity worshipped by the Order, who would punish all sinners upon its birth, completing Heather's destiny as well. So remembering Leonard's words, Heather gives Claudia the Seal of Metatron, revealing her to be the missionary. Heather summons Pyramid Head, who kills the missionary, allowing Heather to rescue Vincent and Christopher. So, this movie is significantly shorter than the first one as well. The first one is just over 2 hours. This one is just under an hour and a half, so under 90 minutes. The pacing definitely feels different. In this one too, the plot points are very almost rushed as far as the pacing is concerned, whereas the first one, you're slowly drawn in, besides the intro, which really rushed the need to set up a plot, which I still don't love, but that one slowly brings you into the world, and the pacing was well thought. This one feels like, here's our budget, we're confined to so much footage and things we can do, and
they spent a bunch of it getting the 3D camera.
I truly think a lot of that was, yes, for the 3D aspect of it, because they wanted to turn a profit, because ticket prices for 3D cost more. So, money, right? Money. And 3D was...
And with that, what we talked about that we both liked in the first movie, with the transitions, non-existent in this movie, pretty much.
Yeah, they like, imagine that in 3D, where you could have done some really cool atmospheric shots with transitions. That was really missing from this film. I don't understand why.
This film was pretty much all in the dark realm. Dark realm, if you want, that's what they call it or whatever.
Yeah.
But
we're going to talk about 3D some more when we get to Resident Evil, because there's some unique things you can do with 3D and these cameras. This movie didn't. They went for the weapon in your face and just traditional tropes of 3D to point out. And again, I compare it to Friday the 13th Part 3 with a lot of the kills. And keep in mind that was a different style of 3D. Concept still the same still, popping out of the screen.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I don't know if it was just an inexperienced cinematographer and an inexperienced director. I didn't really look up much of their resume of work to be like, they did some amazing things here, but, kind of fell flat here. I don't know a lot about them, which the director, Michael Bassett, what have they done? Now we're on the topic because I'm curious now. So she worked on...
He also wrote it. So it's not just directed. She wrote this one, too.
Yeah. So before this, they did Solomon Kane, Wilderness, The Abduction Club, and Death Watch. I'm unfamiliar with all of those, to be honest. Since this movie, they went on and did Inside Man Most Wanted, Rogue, and Endangered Species. Not familiar with those either. However, they did work as a director on Ash vs. the Evil Dead, which they worked as a director on 4 episodes. That was a fun show. I enjoyed that show. That had some really cool cinematography. But again, this is director, so I don't know the influence there. But yeah, their resume work is not vast. That doesn't mean they're good or bad, but I'm not familiar with their work, so I couldn't tell you. I don't know. So as the fog fades from the town, Christopher decides to stay in Silent Hill to find and free Rose, leaving Heather and Vincent to care for each other. They manage to hitch a ride away from the place in a truck driven by Travis Grady. Travis mentions to Heather, now referring to herself as Sharon, and Vincent that they were lucky he was there, since he had not been driving in that direction for a long time. A couple of police cars, followed by a prisoner transport, enter the area of Silent Hill, which is then consumed by the fog. In a post-credit scene, Pyramid Head is seen walking through an unknown area in Silent Hill. So, the setup for a third, clearly, Batman says Bruce Campbell's at a con that he's going to in November. Hope you get a chance to meet him. He seems awesome. I'm a fan of a lot of his work. He was in, obviously, Evil Dead, but did you know he was in the early 2000s Spider-Man? Do you remember the sequence where he fights Macho Man in the cage match? So Bruce Campbell is the announcer. He's the one bringing him out. So
yeah. I got you for 3 minutes.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Mach. Oh yeah.
Snip it to a Slim Jim.
Lana says they apologize for this movie too. Batman booked a photo with him. That's awesome.
Good for you, man.
What's up, Storm? How you been, Selena? Welcome. So, overall, obviously, they were trying to set up a third movie. It did okay box office-wise. They could have had enough...
Did it do okay, or did the numbers get padded because it was the 3D, so they just got more money for each ticket?
Most likely that, but it still looks good on paper, right? So
are we far enough in to just do our thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, I wanted to close with this. So in October of 2012, Bassett said that if she was to make a sequel, instead of adapting from an existing game, she would prefer to use the stories in the graphic novel adaptations. The only chatter after that came in January of 2020, whereas the Silent Hill director Christophe Gans expressed an interest in working on a new film, stating that he is developing a script and it will be set in a small American town ruled over by Puritanism, which could be interesting. So, Silent Hill, it's been a while too. The last Silent Hill conversations that even Konami has had was back when they did the PT demo on the PS4. You're not a PlayStation guy, which is fine, so you might not be completely familiar with PT and what that was.
Honestly, no idea.
Okay, so PT was a free demo back in like 2014, I think. Let me see if I can look that up to confirm it. Yep, August of 2014. So it was a Konami thing. It was PT. And it was supposed to be a teaser for a game called Silent Hills. That was going to be the next one. But then there ended up being a lot of problems with Konami and Hideo Kojima, which had worked with them for many, many years. That's a whole nother topic for another, because there's a lot to it. They parted ways with each other. It was a collaboration also supposed to be with Guillermo del Toro. And then it starred Norman Reedus was the main protagonist in this little teaser. It was basically...
Is that the one where you're in like a house? I think I've seen video of this.
The looping hallways. Yes, the house. It's a looping hallway, and you keep having to figure out things. I'll send you a link, but Andrea actually played it and completed it back when it was out.
I have seen video of that.
Yeah.
So
that was supposed to be like the teaser, the setup for a project that they were working on to release. That was, I think, the last Silent Hill thing that we've even seen. I'm trying to look up to see if there's any more. Yeah, PT in 2014 was the very last release, anything related to Silent Hill. The first release of Silent Hill being back in 1999. So, I mean, before that we had Book of Memories, the HD collection. So, literally what I said, the last stuff that I played, the HD collection, was the last stuff that they had put out. So, almost 10 years ago now. So that's why me personally said, yeah, I'm so disconnected with this world. Because all of us have been. We've been begging to get back into the world of Silent Hill, especially with the resurgence of the horror genre being so good again and technology being so fantastic. VR being a thing now. Imagine Silent Hill in VR. Like, there's so many possibilities.
I don't know if I'd want to play Silent Hill in VR.
It would be pretty scary, and that's exciting.
Might like try to run away from something and run into a wall. I don't know.
I mean, that's possible. I wish it wasn't so disorienting for me, because I would love VR more. I can't play it for very long. I tried Resident Evil 7 in VR, and it was uncomfortable. Not the gear, but like physically for me, like I felt disoriented. I don't do well with motion stuff. But yeah, I'm begging. Please give us something, Silent Hill. There's rumor, I guess. I'm trying to see if there's any talks for the future. Yeah, there's not. It's quiet, super quiet. Konami's been pretty quiet on that stuff. So who knows? Who knows what the future is? But I'd be excited if they did something. Even give me a collection of the games again. Damn it! Like, remaster them. I want to dive back in.
Remaster and everything else. So
I'm okay with that. You know, like, I know a lot of people are mad about rebuying the same shit, but like,
that doesn't bother me. If it's something that's that old, like it's 10 years ago, if they go in and make it look nicer, and then
improve the mechanics,
to enjoy it again.
Yeah, that's okay. Improve the mechanics of it, make it look nicer. Sure, it's worth it. Especially if it was a good experience.
And how much more you can do for other little things, like, because how much more the systems can handle now. You could go in and upgrade some things, make it better. Like,
yeah. Batman says once you've played Paranormal Activity on VR, you'll play anything. Storm, I'm right there with you. VR makes me dizzy too. So
I haven't tried it. I know my sister, brother-in-law, and niece and nephew have it over at their house, and I've watched the kids play it, but I have not.
It's worth trying. I mean, try it out. You might enjoy it. It might be for you. Again, it wasn't for me. Maybe it was the game. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I didn't get motion sickness. I don't like elevators. I feel uneasy on elevators. So it's just me. We're all different. So, but yes, let's
jumping on the elevator to scare you.
That would scare me. I hate elevators, man. And then Andrea Lana takes me on the elevator ride at Disney, the Tower of Terror.
Oh, that thing's fun.
No,
that thing's fun.
No, it's terrifying.
Oh yeah, it was. It's great.
No, it was a bad time. I had a bad time. Let's give our final thoughts, though, on this one. We already gave kind of our final thoughts on the first one.
So I will go first because you always get the last word.
Oh, you make that sound... Jeez.
It's not a bad thing. You just do. It's fine.
Okay.
So, actual shocking. This movie's garbage. It really is. And that's coming from me. The only thing, like I said, is there's some cool creature stuff in it. If you're a true horror fan, it's worth a watch. That's about it. Like, it's not good. It's bad.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. There were elements, like I said, a nod to the attire. There's certain things, like they utilize the score. There's some atmospheric things that were neat, like the carnival. The one monster we highlighted was really cool. Just the characters were uninteresting. You didn't care what really happened to them. The acting was really bad. Overall,
especially because if you're comparing it to the first one, they did so many things that were really good and then just didn't do it in the second one. It was like you had a blueprint for what worked.
Yeah, and, again, I don't understand. It was a different director. Maybe they had a different vision. But who knows? Like, this film exists. Is it worth watching? Honestly, probably not. There are some elements that you could probably find clips of if you really want to see what we're talking about. The good news is it's less than an hour and a half, so it's like not really eating much time of your life away. Like, yes, you won't get that time back.
Like, for people like you that are like horror buffs and just if it's a horror movie, you want to watch it, this one you can just throw in with that. You watch it once, you say you did.
And if you have absolutely nothing to do and you have an easy access to this film, sure, watch it, but like...
Streaming free on Stars.
Yeah, don't go in with expectations by any means. It's something to have on in the background, and then if you're picking up some of the things it says, cool, it's a thing that exists. I wish it was better.
It was like they took Silent Hill and just used horror cliches, spooky, to fill in everything else for the plot, and that was it. It wasn't anything special.
No. But yeah, that's Silent Hill Revelation 3D, and I did not see this in theaters. I did not see this in 3D, so could the 3D have been cool?
First one you should watch.
Yes.
Second one, whatever you want to do, it's fine.
Yeah. Maybe in the future we'll see a really good film. Who knows? There is a reboot of Resident Evil coming out. I'm nervous about that.
I am too. I've been too scared to even watch the previews for it.
Same. I haven't watched the trailer yet. I seen the screenshots for the costume test, and I was already like, "Is this a cosplay?" Oh no! I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. So,
but your ultimate question that we're trying to find is the worst video game movie.
Ah, yes. That is the theme of the show,
Revelations. Right? Revelations right now is my worst video game movie that we have watched so far. This is just bad.
So let's talk about that. Let's look back of our reviews. This is our technically 8th and 9th review, which is incredible. We've done that many already. Let's talk about what all have we reviewed for our listeners. Let's pull that up, shall we? Let me do that real quick.
Mortal Kombat.
So you can check out the rDNA podcast on YouTube and listen and watch the video versions of all our reviews, which you should do. The films that we have reviewed thus far include Mortal Kombat from 1995, Super Mario Brothers, so the live-action one, not to be confused with the Pixar, or excuse me, Illumination. I'm going to get shouted at for that error. That'll be coming out next year, starring Chris Pratt and a large ensemble cast, including Jack Black as Bowser. I'm intrigued. We're gonna review that one, I promise you. Street Fighter the movie, Warcraft, Doom, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and Sonic the Hedgehog. From my understanding, you're ranking Pokemon Detective Pikachu as towards the top? The best one? If I remember our reviews?
I liked it. For me, still, the original Mortal Kombat is my favorite one we've done so far.
Okay. But Silent Hill Revelation is the worst.
Actually, I should say Silent Hill, the first one, is up there for me, too.
Okay.
Just because it meets, like, the horror, the spooky. I wish I could just take your advice and stop trying to say the word. But the spooky aspect of it, because I like that genre of movie, makes it kind of up there for me. So
okay. So check
but then
those
the second
out.
movie is the worst. So it went from like up near to worst. So that was the
all in one episode. Look at that. The first and possibly only double feature, because we could have done this for Doom. There were 2 Doom movies. For whatever reason, we didn't. But for time on this one, we still kept the same amount of time and reviewed 2 for you guys. So you're welcome. But yeah, check it out. Let us know what you think of the reviews so far. I'm going to have to agree with you. I think Revelation is the bottom of my list so far, too. I think this is the worst video game that we've reviewed so far. Have we found the worst video game film of all time, then? That is the question. We're going to continue our journey in reviewing other video game films every single month. The best place to tune in is live with us on twitch.tv/DoseOfNerdAcumen. If you miss an episode, we archive them on YouTube and also in audio form on Google, Apple, and Spotify, and many other podcast platforms. Search for Dose of Nerd Acumen to find those. But that's all I have for us today, though. If you want to stay connected with us, join our Discord. We have one. We also have Instagram, Twitter. We're on Facebook.
not on OnlyFans yet.
Not yet. There's no demand there, unfortunately.
Well, Lana said she would like you on there.
Yeah, but she already gets the milk for free. Why would she pay for the goat?
Did you just say you're the goat?
I'm the greatest of all time, baby. That's right. Thank you. As the setup and as a home run. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys all for listening to this podcast. It's been a pleasure doing another with you, Mr. iRob. Next week sometime, a bonus episode. We're doing our Halloween special for rDNA. We are doing not 1, and not 2, and not 3, and not 4, and not 5, but 6 movies in one episode. Holy shoo.
I wonder if people want to look at us for that long.
Honestly, we could get the review done in 5 minutes. They're good. Done.
Other people might not agree with us, but that is one of the ones where we both do agree on our take on those movies. But
yes. What I also want to try to do during that episode, too, to break up the monotony of you and I talking for a couple hours, I do want to take people from our chat, have the ability to hop in this call with us and chat maybe about certain movies. Not all 6. We want to give everyone opportunity to speak. But if there's one that stands out for you that you really want to speak on, or even a sequence in that movie, we want people to hop on the call for a bit and tell us your thoughts and feelings. So we want to open that to our community to be a part of that show. So it is going to be our Halloween special. It's not going to be on Halloween because, sorry, kids come first, taking them trick-or-treating. So family first, but it'll be sometime next week. I think we were aiming for next Friday night. Is that what we were looking at? Because you said her birthday, your daughter's birthday is Saturday, and you have a party.
correct.
So you can't do that night.
We'll hammer it out. It'll be either Friday or Saturday. I will see which one
Is better.
works with getting a. I have to ask the boss. Amy hasn't told me which day is the better day yet. So
Gotcha. So for those interested, it'll be either Friday or Saturday next week. We want to do it on a weekend night because we want to give ourselves some time to actually chat without rushing. In all honesty, it might be a couple-hour show. I imagine it being a couple-hour show. It's 6 movies to break down. It's going to be in a similar format like this. We're going to talk about the plot, talk about our favorite things, talk about those soundtracks, though. Man.
Resident Evil 1, one of the best soundtracks ever. I'm spoiler alert.
Yeah. This is a teaser for things to come. Check that show out. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. I'm excited for this episode. I don't know how we're going to top that episode. So it's going to be a fun one. So get your popcorn, get your drinks ready. We're going to have a good time. That's next week. Also to come, the return of NAW Live this Thursday. Yay! So NAW is back. I'll have cards hopefully posted soon. I'm catching up on stuff. I apologize. But I'll post them. So be on the lookout for that.
Updates?
I did, actually. Lunch today.
There you go.
During my lunch, I snagged updates. I got your teal attire. So, and then I also updated my attire.
What?
A return of an old character? I don't know. We'll see. Stuff to come, though. Let's close this episode. We've been just blabbing. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been REEL, real. And it's been real fun. Thank you guys, though, for listening. I've been Gravity. He has been iRob. This has been the rDNA podcast, where we investigate the best and absolute worst video game films. We will review them all. And then the show will end. Honestly, I don't know. We just wait, I guess, for more video game films to come out. Oh, hey!
I don't know if we'll be able to catch up.
Judas in my mind. Thank you for the host storm right at the end here. Thank you so much. But we are ending our show. Finally. I keep saying that. It's like I don't want to end. I don't want to leave Silent Hill for whatever reason. It won't let me leave.
Is it foggy at your house?
My brain's a bit foggy. Maybe that's why I can't end the show. But I will now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next time. Take care. And good night. Stay spooky. Not horror.